Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another tape in my subliminal series. Life isn't fair. The world doesn't care about your excuses, your feelings, or your struggles. You either dominate or you get dominated. You either rise or you stay exactly where you are, stuck, weak, forgotten. Winning isn't for the lazy. It's not for the ones who try their best and then quit when it gets tough. Winning is for the obsessed, the ones who wake up every day with fire in their soul, the ones who refuse to accept mediocrity, who push through pain, who sacrifice comfort for greatness. Average people, they settle. They make excuses. They watch the winners from the sidelines and complain about luck or privilege. But the truth is, winning is a mindset. It's about discipline, power, and relentless drive. You either go all in or you stay average. No middle ground, no half measures. Either you make winning your obsession, your addiction, your reason for breathing, or you become just another nobody in the crowd. So ask yourself, do you want to be remembered? Do you want power, success, and the life you dream of? Then stop thinking, stop hesitating, commit, dominate, and win. Winning requires obsession, not excuses. This is the simple, brutal truth that separates those who succeed from those who fade into nothingness. It's easy to talk about winning. It's easy to say you want success, that you deserve it, that it should be yours. But the reality is success bows to no one. It doesn't care about your wishes, your dreams, or your half-hearted efforts. It only responds to obsession. If you aren't consumed by the need to win, if you aren't willing to do whatever it takes, then you don't stand a chance. Excuses are the language of the weak. People who make excuses have already lost before they've even started. They tell themselves stories about why they aren't winning, blaming circumstances, bad luck, or other people. They convince themselves that the world is against them, that they're somehow at a disadvantage, and that's why they aren't where they want to be. But the truth is, their failure has nothing to do with external forces. It has everything to do with their lack of obsession. They simply don't want it bad enough. Winners don't make excuses. They don't sit around complaining about what's fair or unfair. They don't waste time crying about obstacles. They see every challenge as something to be crushed, every setback as fuel for their fire. They don't care if they have to work harder than everyone else. They don't care if they have to sacrifice everything to reach their goals. They are obsessed with winning, and that obsession drives them past every limitation. There's a reason why the top 1% dominate every industry, every sport, every aspect of life. It's not because they were handed success. It's because they were willing to do what others wouldn't. They lived and breathed their mission. While average people were making excuses, winners were up at 4 a.m. training, working, studying, perfecting their craft. While others were wasting time, winners were sharpening their skills, building their empires, and pushing themselves to levels most people can't even comprehend. Obsession is the fuel that powers champions. It's the reason they don't stop, even when they're tired, even when they've already achieved success. Because for them, winning isn't an option, it's a necessity. They can't imagine a life without it. They don't just want it, they need it. It's in their DNA. It's in every thought, every action, every moment of their existence. That's why they keep going when others quit. That's why they keep pushing when everyone else gives up. Because their hunger is endless. People who make excuses love to point fingers. They'll say things like, not everyone has the same opportunities. They'll tell themselves that winners had it easier, that they got lucky, but that's just another excuse. Look at the real champions, the ones who started from nothing, the ones who came from poverty, from hardship, from circumstances that would have broken an average person. They didn't let their situation define them. They didn't cry about how hard life was. They got obsessed. They trained harder, worked longer, sacrificed more. They turned their pain into fuel. They took control of their destiny. You either find a way or you find an excuse. That's it. Those are your two choices. If you aren't willing to give everything you have, if you aren't willing to push past pain, past exhaustion, past every single roadblock in your way, then you don't really want it. You like the idea of winning, but you aren't willing to pay the price. Winners don't have time for that mindset. They don't waste a second feeling sorry for themselves. Every moment they are awake, they're thinking about their next move, their next victory, their next level. The difference between those who win and those who don't isn't talent, luck, or privilege. It's mindsets. The obsessed will always find a way. The ones who make excuses will always find reasons to fail. The world rewards those who refuse to be average, those who refuse to accept mediocrity, those who are willing to suffer in order to achieve greatness. Obsession is what makes the difference between being remembered and being forgotten. Average people settle, winners dominate. This is the hard truth that most people refuse to accept. The average person wakes up every day with no real plan, no real purpose, and no real hunger to be great. They go through life on autopilot, doing the bare minimum to survive, never pushing themselves, never demanding more from life. They convince themselves that being good enough is acceptable, that comfort is more important than progress, that trying too hard is unnecessary. And that's exactly why they stay average. Winners, on the other hand, refuse to accept anything less than dominance. They don't just want to succeed, they demand it. They don't settle for what life gives them, they take what they want. They don't wait for opportunities, they create them. While average people make peace with mediocrity, winners declare war on it. They don't care if they have to work 10 times harder than everyone else. They don't care if they have to sacrifice sleep, comfort, or social approval. They are willing to do whatever it takes to rise above the rest. The difference between an average person and a winner isn't intelligence, talent, or luck. It's mindset. The average person is always looking for an excuse to relax, to procrastinate, to take the easy way out. They convince themselves that they've done enough, that they deserve a break, that there's no point in pushing further. Winners, on the other hand, are never satisfied. No matter how much they achieve, they always want more. They always believe they can be stronger, smarter, faster, better. They are never comfortable because they know comfort is the enemy of greatness. Average people are terrified of failure. They see it as a reason to quit, as proof that they aren't good enough. When they face challenges, they back down. They tell themselves it wasn't meant to be. They let fear control them, and in doing so, they remain stuck at the same level for their entire lives. Winners see failure differently. To them, failure isn't the end, it's just another step forward. Every setback is a lesson, every mistake is fuel. Every loss is a test of resilience. They don't fear failure because they know it's temporary, and they refuse to let anything stand in the way of their success. Society conditions people to be average. From the moment they're born, they're taught to follow the rules, to stay in line, to do what they're told. They're taught to be grateful for what they have, to not ask for too much, to be realistic, and that's why so many people live unremarkable lives. They buy into the lie that wanting more is selfish, that ambition is dangerous, that success is only for a lucky few. Winners reject this programming. They refuse to live by the rules that keep others weak. They know that success is earned, not given, and they are willing to break every limitation placed on them to reach the top. Average people seek approval. They care too much about what others think. They're afraid of being judged, afraid of standing out, afraid of making people uncomfortable. They water down their ambition because they don't want to upset anyone. They play it safe because they're too concerned with fitting in. Winners don't care about any of that. They don't need validation. They don't need permission. They move with absolute confidence, knowing that success will attract hate, that their drive will make others uncomfortable, that their dominance will trigger insecurity in weaker people, and they embrace it. Most people live their lives waiting for something to change. They wait for motivation, for the right opportunity, for the perfect conditions. They waste years in a cycle of waiting, wishing, and hoping, never realizing that nothing is going to change unless they take action. Winners don't wait. They don't rely on motivation. They don't sit around hoping for something to happen. They take massive, relentless action every single day. They don't wait for opportunities, they create them. They don't hope for success, they force it into existence. Being average is a choice. It's the result of accepting mediocrity, of making excuses, of settling for less than you are capable of. Dominating is also a choice. It's the result of discipline, of refusing to compromise, of demanding excellence in everything you do. The world belongs to those who take it. The weak hesitate. The average settle. But the winners, they dominate. Discipline and relentless drive separate the elite from the mediocre. Most people live their lives searching for shortcuts, for the easiest way out, for some magical solution that will hand them success on a silver platter. They want the rewards, but refuse to pay the price. They convince themselves that motivation will carry them to the top, that inspiration will push them forward. But the truth is, motivation is worthless. It comes and goes. It fades the moment things get tough. The ones who truly succeed are the ones who show up every single day, regardless of how they feel, regardless of their circumstances, regardless of the obstacles in their way. They are fueled not by fleeting emotions, but by discipline, by an unbreakable will, by an obsession so deep that nothing can stop them. The mediocre wait until they feel like it. They only take action when it's convenient, when it's comfortable, when it's easy. That's why they never rise above average. They let their emotions dictate their actions, and as a result, they remain stuck. The elite operate differently. They move with precision, with purpose, with unstoppable consistency. It doesn't matter if they are tired. It doesn't matter if they are uninspired. It doesn't matter if they are in pain. They show up, they execute, they dominate. Their discipline is what sets them apart. Their drive is what keeps them going when everyone else quits. Most people think they want success, but they don't. What they actually want is the illusion of success. They want to look successful, to feel successful, without actually doing the work. That's why they never make it. They start something, and the moment it gets difficult, they stop. They complain about how hard it is. They tell themselves they'll try again later. They justify their lack of progress with excuses, blaming everything but themselves. The elite, they don't care how hard it is. They don't care how long it takes. They don't stop. They don't make excuses. They don't need external validation. They are relentless in their pursuit of greatness. The world is designed to break weak people. It throws obstacles, pain, and challenges in their way, and most fold under the pressure. They take the easy way out because they lack the discipline to endure. They let failure define them because they don't have the drive to push past it. They settle because it's easier than fighting. But the elite don't break. They thrive in adversity. They use pain as fuel. They turn obstacles into opportunities. They don't ask for things to get easier. They make themselves stronger. Discipline is what turns dreams into reality. Without it, ambition is just an empty wish. Without it, talent is wasted. Without it, potential is meaningless. The mediocre tell themselves they have time. They believe they can start tomorrow, next week, next year. And that's exactly why they fail. The elite don't wait. They don't hesitate. They attack their goals with an intensity that most people can't even comprehend. They wake up every day with a mission. They do what needs to be done, no matter what. Comfort is a trap. The mediocre seek comfort at every turn. They avoid struggle. They avoid sacrifice. They choose entertainment over improvement. They waste hours on distractions, indulging in momentary pleasure while their goals rot away. The elite reject comfort. They understand that greatness is forged in discomfort. They willingly put themselves through pain, through hardship, through suffering, because they know that's the price of success. They don't avoid struggle, they embrace it. They don't run from hard work. They crave it. There's no secret formula, no magic hack, no overnight success. It's just discipline and relentless drive, repeated every single day, for years, for decades, for a lifetime. It's about pushing when no one is watching, when no one is applauding, when there's no immediate reward. It's about waking up with the same hunger, the same fire, the same obsession, no matter how much you've already achieved. It's about knowing that there is no finish line, that there is always another level, that there's always more to accomplish. The mediocre will never understand this mindset. They will always look for the easy road, always settle for the bare minimum, always make excuses for why they aren't where they want to be. The elite know better. They know that success is a war, and only those with unshakable discipline and relentless drive will survive. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. The weak crave comfort because it makes them feel safe, but safety is an illusion. The moment you settle into comfort, you stop growing. You stop pushing. You stop becoming better. Comfort kills ambition. It softens you, weakens you, and turns you into just another person drifting through life without purpose. The ones who achieve greatness, the ones who dominate, are the ones who reject comfort at every level. They understand that the path to success is built on pain, struggle, and sacrifice. They embrace discomfort because they know that's where real growth happens. Most people spend their entire lives chasing comfort. They look for the easiest job, the easiest workout, the easiest way to make money. They avoid difficulty at all costs. They want success without the suffering, the rewards without the effort, the victory without the battle, and that's exactly why they never achieve anything. They live in a bubble of convenience, never stepping outside their limits, never testing their strength, never truly pushing themselves. They convince themselves that life is supposed to be easy, and the moment it isn't, they give up. The greatest in any field understand that comfort is the enemy. They don't look for shortcuts. They don't complain about how hard it is. They seek out the struggle. They push their limits every single day, while the average person is sleeping in, taking days off, looking for an excuse to relax. The winners are grinding. They are training their minds and bodies to endure more, to handle more, to rise above the competition. They understand that if they are not suffering, they are not progressing. Comfort is addictive. It lures you in and convinces you that you're doing fine, that you don't need to change, that you don't need to push any harder. It makes you believe that you've earned the right to relax, to slow down, to take it easy. And before you know it, years pass and you've achieved nothing. You're still in the same place, making the same excuses, telling yourself the same lies. Meanwhile, the ones who rejected comfort have surpassed you in every way. They put themselves through hell while you took the easy road. They endured the pain while you avoided it. They grew stronger while you stayed exactly the same. People who fear discomfort will always stay average. They avoid situations that challenge them. They avoid pain, failure, and hardship because they don't want to feel weak. But avoiding discomfort doesn't make you strong. It makes you fragile. It makes you soft. It makes you incapable of handling real adversity when it comes. And it will come. Life will test you. Life will break you if you're not prepared. The ones who have trained themselves to embrace discomfort, to push through it, to use it as fuel, will always come out on top. The difference between the average and the elite is simple. The average run from pain. The elite chase it. The average settle for good enough. The elite demand the best from themselves in every situation. The average take breaks when things get tough. The elite push harder. That's why there's such a massive gap between those who win and those who don't. It's not about luck. It's not about talent. It's about who is willing to suffer the most for their goals. The world is filled with people who never reach their potential because they are too afraid to leave their comfort zone. They stay in the same job they hate. They never take risks. They never push their limit. They convince themselves that they are doing okay, that they don't need to change, that life is fine the way it is. And then one day they wake up and realize they wasted their entire existence settling for less than they were capable of. They look back with regret, wishing they had done more, pushed harder, taken the risks, embraced the struggle. Nothing great is ever achieved in comfort. The best bodies are built through pain, through exhaustion, through sweat and discipline. The best businesses are built through long nights, endless failures, and relentless work. The strongest minds are built through hardship, through rejection, through struggle. The only way to become better is to step into discomfort and stay there until you dominate. The only way to truly separate yourself from the weak is to do the things they refuse to do. The ones who understand this, the ones who live by this, are the ones who rise. There is no middle ground. Commit fully or stay average. Most people live their lives in hesitation, caught between wanting success and fearing the sacrifices it requires. They dip their toes in the water but never dive in. They make half-hearted attempts at greatness but never fully commit. They tell themselves they'll start tomorrow, that they'll give more effort when the timing is right, that they'll go all in when they feel ready, but that moment never comes. They stay stuck in the same place, always planning, always waiting, always hesitating, and that's why they never win. Winners don't hesitate. They don't entertain doubt. They don't waste time questioning whether they should commit. The moment they decide they want something, they give it everything they have. They burn the bridges behind them. They make success their only option. There's no backup plan, no safety net, no escape route. They put themselves in a position where the only way forward is through absolute commitment and relentless action. That is the difference between those who win and those who don't. Most people fail because they never go all in. They put in effort only when it's convenient, when it feels good, when things are easy. The moment it gets hard, the moment they face real adversity, they start pulling back. They tell themselves they'll try again later. They look for an easier way. They never fully commit. And because of that, they never truly succeed. Winners understand that greatness doesn't come from playing it safe. It comes from diving in with everything you have, with no hesitation, no second guessing, no doubts. People love to keep one foot in and one foot out. They chase their goals, but hold on to their comfort at the same time. They want to succeed, but refuse to let go of their old habits, their distractions, their weaknesses. They try to balance their ambition with an average lifestyle, but the two don't mix. You cannot achieve greatness while living like the rest of the world. You cannot dominate if you are still clinging to the things that keep you weak. There is no middle ground. You are either fully in or you are out. The reason most people never achieve anything significant is that they never make the real decision to commit. They tell themselves they want success, but their actions say otherwise. They aren't willing to put in the work when no one is watching. They aren't willing to sacrifice comfort, sleep, or social approval. They let distractions pull them away. They let excuses justify their lack of results. Winners operate on a different level. When they decide on something, it becomes their entire existence. Every action, every thought, every second of their life is aligned with their goal. There is no balance in the pursuit of greatness. Balance is a concept created by people who are afraid to go all in. They tell themselves they need to enjoy life, that they need to take it easy, that they need to be realistic. That mindset is what keeps them average. Winners don't think that way. They are obsessed. They understand that every second spent on something that doesn't push them forward is a second wasted. They are willing to give up everything that doesn't serve their mission. They are willing to sacrifice anything to reach the next level. The world belongs to those who commit fully, the ones who refuse to accept failure, the ones who don't make backup plans because they don't need them, the ones who understand that if they give themselves an option to quit, they will eventually take it. That's why the best in the world don't allow failure to be an option. They put themselves in situations where the only way is forward, where the only choice is to succeed. That level of commitment is rare, but it's what separates champions from the rest. Every day, people choose to either stay average or commit fully. Most choose the easy road, they give half effort, and they get half results. They wonder why they aren't winning, why they aren't at the top, why they feel stuck. It's because they never made the decision to give everything. They are waiting for permission, for a perfect moment, for a guarantee of success before they go all in. But there are no guarantees. There is only action, there is only commitment, and there is only winning for those who refuse to settle for anything less. The world does not reward excuses, it rewards results. Weak people waste their time justifying their failures, convincing themselves that their lack of success is because of circumstances beyond their control. They blame their environment, their upbringing, their luck, or the people around them. They tell themselves stories about why they haven't won yet, why they haven't reached the top, why they aren't living the life they want. But the truth is, none of that matters. The world doesn't care about excuses. It only recognizes one thing: results. Winners understand this. They don't waste time explaining why they haven't succeeded. They don't sit around complaining about their problems. They don't blame others. Instead, they find solutions. They adapt. They overcome. No matter what obstacles stand in their way, they find a way forward. They know that life isn't fair, that the game is rigged, that the odds are stacked against them, but they refuse to let that stop them. They refuse to let anything stand between them and success. They take complete ownership of their results, because they know that in the end, no one is going to hand them victory. They have to take it for themselves. The weak love to make excuses because it makes them feel better about their failures. It allows them to stay comfortable, to avoid responsibility, to convince themselves that they aren't in control of their own destiny. They tell themselves that success is only for the lucky, that the rich have an unfair advantage, that the system is holding them back. And while they are busy complaining, the winners are out there making things happen. They are working, grinding, pushing forward, while the weak are stuck in their own self-imposed limitations. There is no excuse for not winning. Every single person on this planet has obstacles to overcome. Some start with nothing, some face constant setbacks, some deal with failures that would break most people. But the ones who truly want to win don't let that stop them. They refuse to accept. They refuse to let their circumstances define them. They refuse to allow anything to hold them back. They know that the only thing that matters is what they do, how they respond, how they move forward. Most people are addicted to excuses. They use them as a crutch. They convince themselves that they need more time, more resources, more help. They tell themselves that they'll start when the timing is right, when the situation improves, when they feel ready. But that day never comes. They spend their entire lives waiting, making the same excuses over and over again, watching as others pass them by. The winners don't wait. They don't need perfect conditions. They start where they are with what they have, and they figure out the rest along the way. Excuses will never lead to results. No one cares why you haven't made it. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to feel sorry for you. The world rewards those who produce, who execute, who deliver. It does not care about your struggles, your pain, or your reasons for not being where you want to be. The only thing that matters is whether you win or lose, whether you succeed or fail, whether you dominate or stay forgotten. People who live by excuses will never achieve anything. They will spend their entire lives in mediocrity, watching others succeed while they sit on the sidelines making excuses for why they can't. They will convince themselves that life is unfair, that they were never meant to be great, that the world is against them. But the truth is, the only thing standing in their way is their own mindset. The moment they stop making excuses, the moment they take full responsibility for their lives, everything changes. In conclusion, every person has two choices: make excuses or make progress. There is no in between. You can either justify your failures or you can do something about them. You can either blame the world for your lack of success, or you can take control and change your circumstances. Winners don't allow themselves to fall into the trap of excuses. They don't give themselves an easy way out. They don't allow weakness to take over. They push, they grind, they demand results, and they do whatever it takes to make sure they win.